Well, the rain's coming. We've been watching the radar, trying to make the call whether to plant or not, because rain is so important when it comes to broadcasting. We want that seed to make really good soil contact and have moisture. If we don't get that rain, that seed's just laying on the ground, easy for those critters to consume or just bake. If we get a bunch of hot days, which are coming, you know, we're gonna get in the 90s next few days, those seeds are weak. They're living organisms. They can get too hot and die. So we want a really good stand in here, so rain is key. We're getting right ahead of the rain. We've watched the radar. Looks like we're gonna get a little over ½ inch of rain right on top of this. So we're out today broadcasting. So we're going to be broadcasting a few hidey holes. I'll be sharing some tips and techniques as we go through today. First thing you're going to see here, it is brown and dead. We had the hidey hole broadcast blend in here, which did a great job feeding critters during the hunting season. Had some great encounters and hunts with deer coming into these hidey holes, head down eating. We used our steel backpack sprayers, came in with 2% glyphosate, sprayed these hidey holes, terminated them. Now we've got sunlight to the ground. This is hand tools, folks. We're not bringing in tractors or big equipment in here. These are hand tools and part of our hunting strategy. And so backpack sprayer, little herbicide, 2% glyphosate, terminated the weeds and the fall crop to ensure we get a good stand of the summer crop. We're broadcasting green cover seeds super summer release, and you can tell in this plot it was heavy grass. Because the grass is so fine, we have bare soil underneath. So that seed is making really good contact with the soil as we're broadcasting. It's not getting hung up on leaf litter or anything like that. It's making really good soil contact, and that's really important when broadcasting. A drill, you can cut through the duff if there's leaf litter or vegetation from the past crop. You can cut through it and you get that seed in the soil. And for larger plots, that's great because you get great seed to soil contact. But we don't have this with hand tools. So depending on the situation, we may have to have different methods and strategies to make sure we get that seed to soil contact. And I'll show you one in just a minute, because the next plot we're going to, we had to use a different strategy to ensure we got that seed to soil contact. So grasses dried up fine, can see the soil, broadcast, that seed's laying right on top of soil, making good contact. That rain's gonna come in, hit soil, splash it on top of the seed. These are great conditions for this hidey hole to be successful. So we're gonna get to the next one, and I'll be sharing some observations from there, because the next hidey hole's a little different situation than we have here. All right, so we're at a hidey hole here, surrounded by timber. You can tell we're in the middle of big timber. You can see we've cut all these trees. We've got all these stumps left out here, which is fine. They're gonna break down over time. Doesn't matter for deer hunting. We got stumps here. The only thing we gotta watch out from not tripping over these while we're planting. But because we're surrounded by timber, and this is only, 25, 30 yards across here. And in the fall, all those leaves blow across, and we build up a pretty good leaf layer, duff layer, during the fall. And you can tell we've got soil here, but we had to do a little work. We had to bring in the steel backpack blower and blow all that duff away so we could get soil contact. So had to use another little hand tool, do a little work to make sure we get a good stand. And you can see here, I'm on the edge. We blew all this leaf litter away. And we didn't burn it off. We didn't have to burn this off, because once we blew it, we had enough sunlight reaching the ground and enough soil exposed that we're going to be fine. Check this out. You can see how much soil now there is. And as we broadcast through here, that seed's making good contact. So If you have heavy leaf litter, you've got to remove that, or that seed's never going to make it to the soil. It may germinate, it may get some water, but if it's not getting to the soil, it's going to die. Those roots can't get established, and it's not going to take off. So make sure, whether you use a backpack blower to remove leaf litter, a rake can work well. Maybe use prescribed fire. You could blow a ring around and make a little fire break around the hidey hole. If this is dry enough, you've sprayed it with herbicide and it's terminating dry, use a little prescribed fire here to clean this up. We use that a lot of times in the late summer to prep our hidey holes for planting. We've showed you that in the past, but because we have grass in a lot of these areas or just leaf litter, a lot of times we can either get away with just broadcasting to the terminate stuff or a backpack blower. Another little hidey hole done. We're putting up a utilization cage. We talk a lot about utilization cages. These are great tools. You know, here we are. We've got hand tools out here making these little hidey holes. This is a great tool that you can easily make with some wire. We've got about 4 foot wire here. We put some smaller wire down here so those rabbits can't get in here. But we're using this as a tool to tell us what our browse pressure is out here. Did we have a crop failure? Did our seed not make good soil contact? We can learn a lot of lessons from this. Do we need to harvest some does later this fall? We have a utilization cage in every plot. So what we'll be looking for, did our crop fail because we didn't get enough rain or we didn't make good seed to soil contact? Well, if it's not growing in here where critters can't even browse it, if it's not growing, probably had some little failure. If it's growing in here, but it's not out here, that tells us, hey, our crop didn't fail. Even though we can't see it out here, it didn't fail because it's growing in here. We've got too many mouths. That tells us we need to get those arrows ready and get some bullets because we need to target some does later on this fall.
Growing Deer is brought to you by Bass Pro Shops and Cabela's. Also by Green Cover Food Plots, Winchester, PH Outdoors, Moultrie Mobile, Steel, Fleet Outdoor Apparel, Morel Targets, Fourth Arrow, Scorpion Venom Archery, Case IH Tractors, Ward Laboratories, Burris Optics, G5 Broadheads, Prime Bows, and Redneck Hunting Gloves.
So getting ready to broadcast another hidey hole here, and we're getting our seed out and ready for this hidey hole. And what we've done is we've already measured out how much seed we need for these hidey holes inside our bag. Just marked a little line with some duct tape and have already got our seed in these tubs. And this does several things. First, it's keeping this seed dry. If we get caught out in this rain, we don't have bags of seed where those bags are getting wet. We have dry seed. And then also, we can just set our broadcaster inside this tote and take a little coffee can or a scoop or something and just dump it in there, get it to that line that we've already measured and weighed out so we know how much we have. But having that broadcaster in that tote and dumping it in there, if we do happen to spill for some reason, it's just dropping right back down in where we already have seed. We're not wasting any seed, you know, dumping a bag or dumping it here on the ground, where if it falls over, we've got seed on the ground. Seed's precious. We don't want to waste any seed. Keeping that seed dry and saving that seed for our hidey holes. One thing you'll notice as we're planting our hidey holes, we've got Tim and Stone out here. One's going north and south, one's going east and west. They're crisscrossing, and that's ensuring we get really good coverage. Now, if there's just one guy broadcasting, do the same thing. Start by going east and west, then north and south. And it's okay if you do that multiple times. As I've shared with Stone, Stone's our intern for the summer. As I shared with Stone, as we started this process, I said, you know, don't just plan on doing one way just one time, because we don't want to run out of seed. It's okay if you crisscross or go east and west, do that pattern 2 or 3 times, throughout the plot. Just open up that spout just a little bit, and as you're broadcasting, just let a little seed come out. Make really good coverage across this plot multiple times to ensure we don't get halfway through and we run out of seed. So this makes sure that we get all that seed evenly distributed across the hidey hole, so we have a really good stand and plant the right amount in these hidey holes. I want to introduce you to Stone Gray. He's going to the University of Georgia. You're going to be a senior, right?
Yes, sir.
And looking to get into wildlife, trying to learn more about, property management. I think you're going to work for your dad's business for a while, maybe take that over. We'll see.
Sir. Yes, sir.
But wants to take some time to learn about property management, learn about wildlife. So really excited to have Stone here. He's already been on a consult with Grant, getting some hands-on field experience. What are you looking forward to during this internship? He's here all summer, so he's going to get to kind of see it all.
I am. I'm really excited to learn a lot of the different aspects of the wildlife management that I haven't been able to get into yet, especially the planting. I'm really excited to learn about that and just learn a lot more about deer and turkeys.
Yeah. So we're really looking forward to have Stone. Glad he's here to help us during planting season here. He's doing a great job broadcasting hidey holes today.
Yes, sir.
Getting that real boots on the ground experience. Hopefully we get planted before all this rain comes in.
Yes, sir. Thanks for having me.
Stone may get wet. He's got a rain jacket in the tracker.
I do. Yes, sir.
These hidey holes are going to supply a little food during the summer, help suppress weeds, pull some nutrients out of the ground, which are going to become, slow releasing fertilizer for our future crop, our fall crop, which is what we really want to focus on. So we're not just letting these areas go to waste and go to weeds. We're trying to maintain them, keep them up as much as we can, looking forward to our fall crop. Now, it also teaches deer, hey, come over here, feel comfortable feeding here during the growing season, and then we'll broadcast into these hidey holes again later this summer, going into the fall. Hey, you feel comfortable eating here? Come back during hunting season. Hopefully we'll be sitting up in a tree when you're here. These little hidey holes are a big part of our hunting strategy here at the Proving Grounds too. And using a summer crop in here to get deer used to feeding in the area, recycle those nutrients, suppress weeds, so we have a really good fall crop. Well, that helps us put more venison in the freezer. Look at this thing. Hey, I hope you're able to get outside this week, enjoy creation, but no matter what, slow down, listen to the Creator and the purpose He has for your life. Thanks for watching Growing Deer.